11th, Wednesday. Calling to order Housing Commission meeting. If we could, is everybody's here? If we could go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from last month? Are there any changes or questions?
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the September 13 meeting.
Second.
We could get a roll call.
Vice Chairperson Ezell.
Yes.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill.
Yes.
Commissioner Souder. Chairperson Davis.
Yes. I'm so sorry, Melissa. I skipped over roll call. Would you like to go ahead? Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Ezell.
Yes.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill.
Yes.
Commissioner Souder.
Yes.
Awesome. Do we have any communications or comments from the public before we get started? No? Okay. If we could go ahead and jump ahead to some old business really quick. Tori, can we review 6621 State Line Road?
We have a property representative. So the plumbing leak has been fixed. Now they're just working on some cabinets and cosmetic stuff. You got a few things in the exterior, but that's going to take no time to finish up. Again, just cosmetics. With that being said, in my opinion, there's no need to keep it in housing if they're just in the cosmetic stages. They've worked super hard to get to where they are, and I'm okay with the overall of it.
I went by there yesterday. It looks so good. So pretty. And it's your brother-in-law, correct? Is he doing better? Is he good? Awesome. Do we have any motions on how we want to move forward?
Make a
With
motion to
State Line?
close the case at 6621 State Line Road.
Second.
Awesome. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell. Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill.
Yes.
Commissioner Souder. Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Great. Awesome. Next, let's check in on 3714 Sullivan Avenue. Possible place.
We've got representatives here for that as well. I went by on Monday. It looks like the fence is good. It's complete, I should say. It looks really good. I will say there's still some items I could see kind of still back there. I think you're just trying to get it all squared away and cleaned up from finishing. Yeah. I'd say maybe pass it one more month for full compliance, but they're there though.
Okay. So your carport's all done? You got it up? Almost?
75%.
Almost. And that was for your car, for your building materials, or was it just for, okay. Yep. Good deal. Do we have any suggestions, motions, questions?
So it's codes recommendation to extend it one more month. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because they just finished that fence up. There's still those debris and stuff out from all his stuff that he was using to finish the fence. So to get it in full code compliance, when I go back out to check for next month, we should be ready to bring it back and have it dismissed.
I make a motion that we consider 3714 Sullivan Avenue passed into the next meeting, which is November 8th, for final review and allowing time for inspection.
Second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Lance,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souder,
Yes, sir.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, so that one is passed till next month. We'll see you guys in
Thank you.
October.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's skip around just for a second. If we could go to new business at 201 East Street, apartment 324. Do we have any representation for Dogwood Resident Management Company? Anybody? No one. Okay. So what happened with this one?
So, I was called out to this unit, it's unit 324. I was called out to them by the fire department for a hoarding situation. When I arrived, the unit was extremely unsanitary and there was a lack of maintenance. The unit contained trash and debris, animal remains. They had faulty smoke detectors. The fridge and the microwave didn't work. The kitchen sink was stopped up, and the bathroom, along with the bedroom, because it's a one bedroom, one bath unit. It might be two bedrooms, but I couldn't get there because of the egress. It was just super unsanitary and unfit for human habitation. All in all, the big thing of it was just getting it cleaned up. I think that the lady that lives there has some issues kind of going on, and she knows that she needs to get some help, so we were kind of talking about that. The property manager did meet me on site. I sent over all the information that you guys had on it as well. I emailed her earlier this week to get an update on it, because I told her if they can get somebody out to clean it, we wouldn't necessarily have to come here, because that's the biggest thing, is just getting it cleaned up. I have not heard anything else from them. If it has been cleaned up, if it hasn't been cleaned up, ultimately, they can't live like that, so.
So is she still, she's not residing there, is
She
she?
was. When I say unsanitary, I've brought you guys some pretty nasty stuff before. More or less, it was just to not kick her out because of her situation, because it's still livable. It's not the greatest, but ultimately now, if it hasn't been cleaned, then we need to take different measures.
So do you know if they got the smoke detectors working?
The fire department's the one that wanted that changed immediately when I was out there, and to my knowledge, yes, they were going out that same day. They just had to go get them from the maintenance building.
Okay.
And they told me that they would fix the sinks and the appliances, but she had to get it cleaned out first because they
They
wouldn't
could
go
do it,
in.
yeah.
And the reason why it has gotten as bad as it is, and the reason why they didn't know that those things weren't working, is because she has refused them to come in to change the air filters or do whatever, and they didn't know it was as bad as it was until we were all out there.
Wow.
Anybody cleaning it up?
She talked with the property manager, and they were going to work on finding somebody to come in and have it cleaned up. She said she was on a fixed income, and she said that they could try to find something that would suit her financial state. I haven't heard anything. I've reached out, and nobody said anything yet. But I know that they got a copy of the notice because I sent it to the email, and I received respondents back, and then I also mailed it certified and received a return receipt green card back with it.
Is this the large complex on the end?
Hill up there.
Do they have an on-site manager, property manager?
I actually just finished up a different unit at this complex like 2 days before I got called out for this one, so we're very well acquainted. But I don't know if she's just out, I'm not sure. But I actually think I sent it to someone else that's with the Dogwood management group in general, but I haven't heard anything from them either if it's been cleaned up.
Plans for them.
So you don't know that the animal remains have even been taken out?
It's from a cat.
Yeah.
That's it. Couldn't tell you.
I just worry about the neighbors.
Nobody's complained neighbor-wise.
Make me wonder what's in the other room,
That's
other
exactly
places.
what they don't want drawn attention to.
I'm just thinking about mice and insects and,
Right.
smell. I can smell it from, it's PTSD.
So, can we give 10 days to get it cleaned up and then condemn it? If not, can we give her 10 more days? Since we don't know,
Proper notice, I think, my only comment on that, aside from a yes, is I think it would require, if you're gonna condemn it outside of the scheduled meeting, you'd have to schedule a special meeting with a condemnation.
I have a question.
but we have no clue whether or not, since you can't get a hold of them or they won't call you back, whether or not anybody's working to take care of it, or she's just gonna stay there till somebody makes it happen.
Why we didn't displace her in the first place was for that. So I don't think she has any family around or,
Don't do it fairly soon, that's another whole month.
Well, she
I
has
know.
nowhere
Could
to go.
sit
I
like
was just
that.
wondering about health safety welfare 72 hour. But that would displace her. That would not be smart. And also under ADA, I mean, is this not also protected under ADA for hoarding? That's
I'm
a-
not opposed to a special meeting if I have to have it.
Yes,
I-
if it's somebody's well-being, I mean,
I agree. There's just a lot going on with this one. I want to do.
What are the rights to enter as far as the owners? I mean, after a certain period of time, you have the right to post and enter.
And ultimately, while the tenant may be the party being evicted, when it's condemned, it's on the property owner.
Exactly.
The
And are they letting
onus
it go
is on-
into other apartments?
They should be able to. Why, she can refuse entry, a tenant can refuse entry to a landlord, but if the landlord gives them sufficient notice under the lease, I don't think that this is just an opinion, not legal advice, I don't think that the tenant can lawfully refuse entry at that point. I think it sounds like the facts that we've heard put forth this evening are that the landlord just doesn't want to step on anyone's toes, and they're basically insulating themselves from tenant liability, if that makes sense.
Well, it does, and what I understand is if they deny you entry today or tomorrow, then you give them written notice next week. At some point, they can't deny you entry anymore.
Correct.
Especially if it's a maintenance such as smoke detector check,
And that's something I think that
HVAC maintenance.
it does have, I'm sorry. Speaking into a microphone, I'm sorry. I think that it does have, they would have the ability at that point. What does codes think as far as, you have to have, have you approached the property manager to consent to an inspection?
well, she was with me when I got called out there. We were on the same page, the entire time. And like I said, having dealt with previous units, they've been very sufficient about getting me in, getting the things that I want done, etc. So I say maybe let me try the rest of this week, and if next week I'll go out there physically and see if I can get somebody, and then I'll even go knock on the ladies' unit again if I need to and just talk to her myself and just see. And for all I know, it could have already been cleaned, but because they haven't communicated with me, I've made it very clear, make sure y'all let me know whenever you guys have started work, when things are in progress, so I can go from there. And I haven't heard anything. So I say if it's not cleaned by next Wednesday, then, actually no, let's make it Thursday, I have AHO. Next Thursday, then we can do whatever you guys feel best. But I'll try tomorrow and the rest of this week to make contact and see how far we are with it.
So instead of making a motion, we need to wait and let you go see it, and call a special meeting.
If it hasn't been corrected.
And you might be able to get the owner, the property management entity, to consent to the inspection. It's gonna be the terms of their lease, and obviously the city is not gonna provide a legal opinion on that for them. But they probably have the authority to consent to an inspection, especially if it's for health, safety, and welfare.
Unfortunately, this just kind of goes back onto the management company, the manager, on their, their rights to take care of the issue. But all of it kind of puts the resident in a hard place, especially she has no help, she has no one, she has nowhere to go. It puts it in a really, really hard situation. So we want to pass that one. What do we want to do?
Don't wanna pass it for
Yeah, I don't know how to,
over 10, that's what I was saying, maybe 10 days to
yeah, if anything, give me,
all next week.
yeah, and I can either I can send it, or I have most of, y'all's numbers. I can either send an email to you guys and let y'all know where we stand with it, what we need to do, and then kind of make that call from there if we need to call a special meeting or not. But just give me time to try to get in there and see where we're at with it.
And they knew this meeting was tonight and that, okay. So
I'm
they
pretty
were-
sure I know I did. I put on, the repair cleanup demo paper on the very bottom, that the interior needed to be, undergo the cleanup as soon as possible, and if it's not started, by today, then we would go into condemnation efforts if need be. However, I don't wanna do that, and because they have been able to work with me and show me that they're willing to work with whatever I ask, I was really hoping we wouldn't have to do that. And I'm hoping I still don't have to do that, that if I go out and just get in there, I can see a difference, but nobody said anything, that's
I
the
just worry about
problem.
the health, safety, and welfare of everyone
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Because it's time sensitive if something were to happen, so. Okay, so you're gonna meet us back. Do we need to do a roll call on that?
So, I make a motion, we give Tori 10 days with the owner and the resident to get started or have it done. If not, call a special meeting to come back.
Love it.
Second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell, Commissioner Lance,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, so on old business, 1411 Southmore Road, update from August 9th. Do we have any representation from Moore? Nope, okay.
All the trash and debris that we originally listed, which was why it was brought here, have been removed. They stayed removed. They did take down that deck that we were concerned about. It's gone. I will say that there is some things on the structure itself that need to be fixed, but building permits can do that. It doesn't really pose a threat to life safety. It's just lack of maintenance. And then they still have some items in the backyard, I think, from where they took down the deck that they're still trying to get rid of. But AHO can also handle that as well. So just for the sake of this board, I say, up to you guys, but remove it out of here. And then if I need to, I can always go through AHO, and then I can always bring it back if need be. And then we also have our residential inspector that can do what he needs to do, because the owner talked about pulling permits to rebuild that deck. So we're gonna constantly have an inspector out there anyways.
Was this the HVAC guy? Yeah, okay. And he had it cleaned up pretty much by
Before
the
he
time
got-
he got
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm to wait. Okay, do we have a motion on what we want to do for the next month?
So it's your opinion that we should vote to close it and turn it over to permits?
I can always bring it back to y'all if they don't remedy whatever I need remedied. Like I said, we also have the administrative hearing, so I can write it up and take it there if I need to take it there. But just to get it off of y'all's docket, because there's more that we could bring that pose more of a threat than this right now.
I'm fine with closing it. Since he's already had it cleaned up.
I would make a motion to close it this time from this committee.
Second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Lance,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay. 1581 Burns Avenue. Do we have anyone here from the address? Hello. Hello, how are you? Good. Could you state your name? and
Tiffany
your-
Goodwin.
Tiffany.
Goodwin.
Goodwin. And do we have a phone number for you, Tiffany?
I have it if y'all
You
need
do?
it.
Okay, and the address?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
So the exterior wall, the front load-bearing wall, has been repaired. Danny, our residential inspector, he finalized that permit out and he approved the final. With that being said, the power has been turned back on. We had our electrical inspector go out just to do a meter release. He approved that. EPB turned the power back on. So I'm willing to take it out of condemnation because that's what it was under. However, I talked with Miss Tiffany and I want to keep it in housing until the other exterior repairs get done, just with the soffits and your fascia boards, etc. Those are not minor, but not major either, but I still want them done. So I'm willing to let people go back in there. It doesn't pose a threat to life safety. However, until all of it's fixed, I would like to stay in Housing Commission.
Okay. Awesome.
So you're recommending
To
the
release
November meeting?
condemnation. Yeah, release condemnation, but keep it in housing just until all exterior repairs are made, but people can go back in now and live there.
I'll make a motion that this case be removed from condemnation, but continued on our caseload until such time as it's fully repaired and approved. And revisit it next month, the November, is that good to have time to November 8th?
So so we had a car hit the building, that's what happened. And so we have other properties and just getting people to come and get it done, it's a struggle. So it's not for a lack of like wanting to get it done. We're very communicative with each
Yes,
other, so I'm
yes.
more than happy to get someone out there and have them tell me when they think they can get to it, and then I could let you know. He's doing a lot of properties in Chattanooga for us right now, so I don't know.
Do you think maybe 60 days?
I think that's much more feasible, yeah. Like
December meeting,
Yeah.
which would be the,
And these are items, you said fascia board? And-
Yeah, just where there's been water damage and it's just kind of rotted out, you got holes, just to get that repaired. It's, again, not major, but not minor, it needs to be done, but.
And I will see if he can do it ASAP. It's just hard finding workers. It just is. We're trying to get some windows replaced and he just told me 4 weeks. I'm like, it's just crazy. So, but I'll see if we can get it done before that. But if we could have the 60 days, that'd be fantastic.
all right, that's December 13th meeting.
Awesome. So we have a motion to pass it to December 13th and lift the condemnation.
Okay, so I can let the renters go back in tomorrow.
Yes, do we have a second?
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Lance,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, so we'll see you back in December.
Thank you. I appreciate your help with
Much.
the extra 30 days. Okay.
Next, we have 12 Sheridan Avenue. This is show cause with updates on progress from the September 13th meeting. Do we have anybody here for the address? Hello. If you could state your name for us.
Finley Wright,
Finley Wright? Okay. And what is your address?
10135 East Brainerd Road, Wall, Tennessee 37.
You're the owner.
Okay, so where are we with Sheridan Avenue?
Yeah, so I spoke with Miss Wright last week, I think, might have been the week before. So there's been workers out there, I know I saw them out there on Monday to get all the trash and debris out, to kind of look at those windows and get those replaced. Apparently kids across the street are the ones that broke those windows, and she did talk to the police about that and get a report made just because, obviously. with that being said, the reason why it hasn't been finished is because she's been trying to get it rezoned to meet a multifamily, but the planning commission would not approve that, and it kind of went back and forth, back and forth. So ultimately, instead of investing more money into the structure as a single family when she wants to use it as a multi, which was what it was intentionally meant to be in the beginning, she wanted to wait to see if she could get it rezoned. So I told her that we could talk about that and figure out a good route for that. Ultimately, give it some time for her to get it rezoned and go through that process again. Other than that, I mean, they're trying to get as much as they can exterior-wise cleaned, but to save money from going into it until she figures out which way it's gonna go, whether it be multifamily or has to go back to single family, give her some
After the
time.
planning commission shot you down, it still goes before the city council, what did they say?
So I somehow missed the loop, wasn't educated that there was an appeal process, and I didn't appeal it. But what I did was I went in front of the planning commission a second time. So I've asked for it 2 different times, and they were kind of close together in the time frame. And now I'm I'm learning that that would have been the proper process to appeal it. So that's never been done. So that's why I thought, well, I totally missed out on an opportunity. So what I have hired, and it's been like a long route for me to educate myself on the correct process of order of like people that could help and what I do. Like I thought maybe I needed to try to like hire an attorney or something, but anyways, I think I'm on a really good path now. I have hired Alan Jones, and he's a civil engineer to help me with this next phase, and he said he could not get it done. I guess you have to have the paperwork submitted by this Monday, and he said he could not do that, that it would take him to the next time, which is November 20, that he could put the rezoning paperwork in. I was sitting here thinking, while you guys were talking, that I should call him tomorrow just to be like, could I don't know if he actually needs to submit that paperwork, or if I could go ahead and submit it so we could be on the next zoning meeting, or if that's just something that he has to do. Like maybe I could do you know?
You can, with RPA.
Because I've done it twice before, but since I'm hiring him, his help, I didn't know if he has to do it or if he would allow me just to do it.
I'm sorry, I know. So if Alan Jones is your person, you're gonna want him to do it.
Okay. Okay. So he said November 20. He said he said he had his caseload like full.
So it wouldn't go in front of the planning commission until probably December.
Yeah, and I feel like
maybe
he told me
January.
January, and then the second one which I guess would be the appeal one, would be February, because November 20 is like the next date.
So you would go to the
Oh.
planning commission in January, and then you have 2 council meetings that you have to pass, which would take you into February.
If we're declined with the planning commission.
Even if you're declined with the planning commission, you can still move forward with the council, because they can reverse the planning commission's decision. You're looking at February,
So sooner the
until it's
better.
all done.
Yeah, getting it moving sooner the better.
So is the building secure now? Because you had made a note that people were breaking in and sleeping in there, and it's secure now?
It is, and we've made sure all the windows are locked, and it was just last year, actually, we put $44,000 into the property, and $18,000 was new windows. I think there's 32 windows, so it's like a monstrosity for a single family, and it's actually a misfit in its area for single family. And my brother-in-law's an architect, he helped me get plans to convert it to single family, but when we actually started, I pulled a building permit, and we were starting that, and then it's just so much to change. So we're just like hitting our heads, being like, oh my goodness, maybe we should try this one more time to see with like the proper professionals to help us if we can't, put it back as R2 instead of R3, or, just something that would be.
So what's happened is, when it was built, if it was like that, being a multifamily, it could have been before the zoning ordinance was adopted, however that falls. So that would be considered the legal non-conforming. Because it's been vacant for so long and because it's zoned R1, it goes back, or it reverts back to its original zoning, which is the R1. So ultimately, if it wouldn't have been vacant for so long, yes, you could continue it as a multifamily. But because it was vacant for so long, it goes back to its intended zoning, which is your R1 single family.
How long has it been vacant?
2 years is what the minutes say.
Oh, okay.
But again, is the home secure at this point?
Yes.
Is there power on the electrical temporary pole that's there?
Oh, yeah.
I understand you would need that for work, but are you gonna be performing any work between now and you get your, I'm sorry, February? Because that is a concern of mine, if there's power and there's people that's broken in and stayed there before, now they have a source of power.
So there has been people that have broken in there and stayed, but since then we have replaced all the windows. And as of recently, there has not been, like in the past year, since we did that, there has not been anybody. You could just tell that there's people like that have taken, like it doesn't look like an abandoned place per se.
Well, I
with the
can say with all
windows.
the brush and everything you've cut back, that's helped. The view from the street, you can see
Yeah.
that.
We've also put cameras this last week,
There
so
you go.
that, I mean, and then, you know, the neighbors next door were the ones that were like, when we came over, when I got her letter, and then we went over, like, what is she talking about? Like, broken windows? Oh my goodness. And then the neighbor came over and was just like, hey, I stopped the kids, and they came from that white house, and they just told me that they were bored, and it was an abandoned house, and, you know, and he's like, stopped them from what they were doing. So, and we got his number and, like, exchanged numbers, so, okay, help us, you know, he'll call us if he ever sees anything. He's like, I didn't know who to contact. And I know Tori had a hard time contacting me too, so now we have, I'm
So
sorry.
what's your plans moving forward if it fails, the zoning?
So, I mean, I already have the architectural plans for single family. Like, I do have that. That is, it's literally worst case to make all those changes, to put in a connecting stairwell and just, I mean, it had like 4 electric meters. It was 4 2-bedroom apartments before. So it's like quite a big change. So, you know, I mean, that's what I would do. I would just go forward like that because, you know, I don't want to, this property has quite a history, and I don't know how much detail to go into, but basically, it was first my dad's, and then he deeded it into my name. So, and then I have funding already ready to go for it. And I mean, I'm ready to start on it. And I have a builder ready to go, and you know, everything. So, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the route that makes the most sense, and like not lean into something that's completely different altogether.
Tori, this is not a nuisance property with a lot of calls, that kind of thing. Okay.
So if I understand it right, listening to all this, you're not gonna do anything else till after you get an answer from the planning commission?
So I think I need to educate myself on this, but I'm pretty sure like I would need to do a building permit once a year. Is that like how it works since? Like, can I operate under my existing building permit? Because the only things that we could do, I mean, there's things that we've pretty much been like going in the house and doing some things as we can with like any like rotten wood or just assessment of like the interior. We have it cleaned out, and we did like start to do that a little bit. You know,
Permit's good for a year, right? Provided you do something in so many months.
Within 6 months.
They expire every year, so like if you got it
I
on
probably need to
January
pull
1.
another building permit. I don't know, even to continue like interior, like replacing of any rotten wood or stuff like that.
Give us something
or-
tomorrow, and we can go over
Okay.
the whole building permit, what you need to do.
Okay.
We'll talk what your
It'll be
I don't know
detailed
what would
exactly
make
what
sense.
covers
Yeah.
what. It'll be
Yeah.
very detailed.
Okay.
You'll know exactly what this permit covers to do what work and what you'll need a permit for going forward. Any major work, whether it be roofing or electrical or plumbing or structural or whatever.
I've seen things like that before, I just can't recall it on the spot. So, like, I could come up with a plan of like what we could do in the meantime that's not, you know, that makes sense for the order of operation without knowing which route we're going, if that makes sense. I mean, I could do that. There's a garage there, and, you know, that does need work.
Is the garage one of the issues in the complaint?
That does need work. That is an area I haven't addressed yet. So the house is pretty, like, it's watertight, has a new roof on it, new windows, but,
But there are some items, regardless of whichever way it goes, that need to be addressed.
yeah, that I
That
could,
could be,
I think so,
you
that I
could show
could,
some progress between now and February, March, whenever.
I think there's still some things we could work on before we even knew which route we were going.
Correct, I got you.
And then, of course, just maintenance and upkeep as everything.
So, motions on,
So, right now, we have it, condemned, boarded up, secured.
Well, we didn't have it boarded up. She already had it boarded up. We haven't condemned it. It was more or less to get a show cause in because we didn't have a representative last time.
Condemn and board up with postings and send certified letters to the owner? We didn't do that?
My notes said
Well, my
that too.
note says too.
I think she
Go
already
ahead.
had it boarded up, but people were going in past what she had boarded up.
Through those windows.
But now I agree.
I
It
don't
just
see
makes a
in
difference on what we do here, is
So
we're at
we,
now. What I was gonna say is just leave it,
yeah,
till she gets her answers from the planning commission. So therefore, you just pass this till January, whatever that meeting is, or February, and it stay just like we passed it last meeting.
Do we need to go ahead and place a firm condemnation just to
But we
make
did.
sure? Okay,
That, when we made that motion, and
It's
all
in the
that's in
motion
there
then.
passed,
Okay.
that means it is.
In the minutes that way, not just in our notes.
Now, what
yeah.
does that mean for her as far as repairs? Is she allowed to work on it being
Yes.
He
condemned?
is through codes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
you just wouldn't be able to have anyone reside.
You just can't have a party or nothing over there right now.
There you go.
Nice to clarify.
Unless they're working.
Okay.
Unless they're working. Yeah,
Would be January 10th would be,
thank you.
or Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Wow, it's crazy.
So, we all kinda in agreement with this now.
Move to
We
January.
will make a motion to pass this to the January 10th meeting, leaving it in, the condemned and boarded up.
I think it'll come together real quick. Look at it. It'll work out, Faye.
Did they tell you why they wouldn't change the zoning?
Well, see, there is
I know past
multifamily all around, but it's non-conforming. So it's technically an R1 area, yet the reason I feel like it's worth fighting for is because it's literally all around it is multifamily, and to make it be a single-family monstrous home is gonna make it not actually fit into the area. Like, it's gonna be like overvalued and overdone.
she's exactly right. There's a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
legal nonconformings over there.
Island in an R2 zone.
No, it's all R1 because they're all
And a
legal
non-conforming.
nonconforming. Duplexes is what they are. So ultimately, if they were to go vacant or if some tragic event were to happen, they would have to rebuild to fit
revert
the
back.
zoning, but ultimately, yes, it's all multifamilies through there.
And how did that happen?
because it got condemned. So we lost our
Well,
zoning.
yeah, I was just thinking about all the other houses, though,
How they
that you
got
have
the-
all these duplexes, but they're in an R1 area?
Hello,
Before the zoning ordinance, that's the only thing I can think.
been going for 30 years.
Like there's an apartment, I think of 8 right next to me. And then on the other side,
And those are all zoned for R1.
yeah, and it's all around.
Okay,
Oh,
So she's trying to go about it the right way to get it rezoned to meet that
that's an issue.
structure and
So the motion would be based on waiting for the planning commission's final, or
Yes,
the zoning
that's why
final.
I said,
Gotcha.
make a motion to pass the January 10th meeting, leaving it condemned and boarded up.
January 10th meeting. Okay.
And we should get some answers or something in progress by January 10th.
Well,
Chairman of the planning?
no,
Who?
Brian.
Oh, Brian.
Second on that.
So, do you want,
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pass to January 10th.
Before the,
Oh, sorry.
before you take a vote, just to be clear, the motion is to pass it, leave it condemned and pass it to January 10th.
Yes.
Correct.
And Commissioner Lance is second, okay.
Vice Chairperson Ezell? Commissioner Lance?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheryl?
Yes.
Commissioner Souter?
Yes.
Chairperson Davis?
Yes. Awesome, best of luck. Okay. All right. Last but not least, 1029 South Seminole Drive. This was show cause for updates progress from September 3rd, and there's no one here from the address. I tried to drive by there yesterday, and I couldn't, had a hard time. It took me somewhere else. So where are we with this?
You gotta drive way up the driveway.
Yeah, I went up to the roundabout, or the, not the roundabout, the cul-de-sac. I guess I went the wrong way. I followed my GPS.
yeah, so it's not that road right there. It's literally like, I know you're talking about.
Is it way up behind, and then there's some apartments above it?
Not the one back, it's the one that faces the road right there with a long driveway that goes up, but yes, there is 2 structures on that parcel.
Okay.
You can't miss it, you'll see the junk all out on the driveway.
You able to get a hold of the owner to be there?
No. I sent it certified mail, regular mail, that's all I know to do. I haven't seen any cars up there. I did see that it looked like they got all the items out of that house though, and they have it pushed on the side, but it hasn't changed places, it stayed the same as well.
Are we gonna do anything in here, try to find the owner?
So, I've got the packet. Who was the owner? So, after you posted, they did come out and clean up a little bit, but then nothing else, no communication, they're not here.
How did you post it condemned?
Do what? I didn't post it condemned, we didn't do that one on this one, it was just for a show cause.
Should we
I
post
can
it?
this time though, I will go post a notice.
Well, we voted,
Motion to condemn.
We had a motion to
property till
condemn.
brought up to code.
I don't know how I'm missing that.
yeah.
So what you got?
I do.
Okay.
That's why I questioned. Because I was up there today and I didn't see any condemned signs, so.
Thought
I'll do it tomorrow, it'll be done tomorrow.
Okay.
It might get somebody to wanna talk to you.
You would hope that all the letters I've sent, they would wanna talk, but
And so on the card, who is the owner that you've been sending the information to? Just to the address listed? Okay.
I'd make a motion, we pass this to November 8th, give you a little time to try to find.
Before you vote, just to, inquire about, is the owner an individual or is it a corporate owner? You know?
it's not a corporate, I would know how to find that, but yeah, no, it's individual. It's the people, to my knowledge, well, it was weird. The whole situation's very weird, just the interactions with them in general. It was a lady that was down there that called Animal Services and the police department out in the first place. but who's listed on the owner, I'm pretty sure it's a man. But I don't know how they are related in any manner or acquainted, I should say, in any manner.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull them back up. So you had an animal call there?
Animal Services did, yes. But fire
can.
reached out to me previous, due to the interior of the house, which was with all the floors. And then at that point in time, shortly after, Animal Services had to go out there, and I said, great, let me go with you, because I need to go to the inside, and they were already gonna get access. So I went with them, and
But
that's why
nobody
we're
lives
here.
there.
No, it's vacant. Nobody's there. Somebody was, but not anymore.
So were they squatting?
No, they were renting, and to hear whoever this lady was, landlord, owner, I don't know. They're the ones that destroyed that house, and there's no way in the world that they destroyed that house, because that house has been destroyed for some time.
Okay. Okay. And so the person you were talking to is not necessarily the owner, though? Or they are?
Not to
You
my
don't know?
knowledge, not what that, property card says for Hamilton County.
Yeah, this is the one with the crooked commode,
Yeah.
one the floor's falling in. Okay. So board it up.
Once again, motion to leave it, pass it to the November 8th meeting, leaving it condemned.
Okay. Motion?
Second.
Motion, second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell? Commissioner Lance?
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill?
Yes.
Commissioner Souter?
Yes.
Chairperson Davis?
Yes. Okay. Do we have anything else for tonight? Any questions, comments?
So if we don't find the owner to this place, just throwing this out, and next month when we come in here and there is no owner, there's nothing been done, no answers letters, no letters out. And I say, let's just tear it down, nobody cares about fixing it. How does that work?
I think,
I mean, we've done it before, but I thought we
given
always
the,
found somebody.
given the difficulties with locating the owner, I think in the interest of just protecting this body and the city as a whole, it would be prudent to give codes more than 30 days to try to find him. I think that's when our office, as the city attorney's office, would involve in searching for this individual, who they are. We can look up court records, you can look up other things to try to find him. If they've got a local address,
Who pays the taxes?
you could always just go to the address, maybe, personally serve notice if you're lucky enough. But I think if it's going to continue in condemnation, and this body is considering raising the property because it's a hazard, and placing a lien on the property adversely affecting whomever may be the owner, given that notice has been given, it appears notice has been given, but personal notice has not been given, and no contact with the owner has been made, it would probably be the safer bet to vote to leave it in condemnation for a couple of months to try to make that contact, just because the city can then say, we made good faith efforts. Rather than just say, we mailed a letter, got a green card back, that's it. We've mailed multiple letters. We've tried this. We even sent a representative to the owner's address in person.
I just want to get away from our past experiences of dragging stuff out for 12 months.
I agree.
And that's,
Honestly, we've got to stop
Well,
that.
well, last month you voted for Fountain Avenue to raise it.
And we did.
They appealed it.
I got you. I was gonna ask you, what was that history? That was before myself.
It was a long time, just
Okay.
sitting.
We just got to get away from that. If they don't care,
and when I say, I think
I don't, 60 days is great.
60
I was just
days
curious.
is good, 90 days is more than sufficient.
But 365, I think, is out of the question.
Unless there is
Probably.
something
I think
that's
stop that.
really dangerous about a property, like some kid goes over there, a rafter's gonna fall, the front porch is gonna cave in, or something that would be an attractive nuisance to harm someone, then, we would need to act quickly.
Okay, I agree, thank you.
And there's nothing on this property that, to use the legal term of art Commissioner Lance used, makes this an attractive nuisance. There's no swimming pool with no gate, no fence around it. There's not a cool platform to climb up on and fall off of. There's,
Refrigerator sitting on the front porch.
I think we can
don't
get out of
think
this
so.
now.
No, to be very honest with you guys, it is a problem property. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of thefts, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of things that come in and out of that property that police are there constantly for.
So,
I
So
know a
you're
lot
talking
about
the
that
other
property.
structure on the property? Or-
The entire property in general. They've recovered lots of stolen vehicles off that property. You name it, it's there. So with that being said, for children's sake, probably not. However, for adults' sake, you got a 50-50 chance.
We're still talking about Semino, right? So are you including the structures on up the hill behind this address? No,
First one.
just the first one.
But they own both of those, if that makes sense. Like, it's one parcel, but you've got two structures, which you can do that depending on your lot size, but
Okay.
But there's no one actively living there.
not anymore. Not after I was out before I brought it to y'all.
Right.
No, it's been like a month or two.
I'm,
But
I'm like you though, who pays the taxes? Especially if they own
Yeah.
the entire property from the street to the ridge.
there's some,
well, knowing it's been passed to next month's meeting,
we'll find them.
our office will work with Ms. Holder and assist codes in tracking that in owner or owners. as
It's
best as we
almost,
can.
it's almost impossible not to be able to find someone nowadays with all of our tools that we have, so I think it'll be fun. But since you said that, and then remembering back from last month, it being a nuisance property, I think we should probably be a little aggressive in finding these people and getting it taken care of before the neighbors, you never know. You just gotta think about the people living around that property and what that's doing to them and their value and,
I haven't got any complaints, knock on wood. I know that doesn't make any difference, but it's not, nobody's called to complain to me about it. And in reality, other than the just stuff that they've put out there from the interior, all the problems are interior. So if it's secure, I don't see it being too much of a threat. However,
was
That's
this
the
an
thing.
eviction, a set out, that maybe they set everything out to the curb per the eviction and it just wasn't cleaned up?
no. This is what happened.
All right, sorry.
So the lady, that is, like I said, landlord owner, I don't really know what she is. I just know she was out there when we were out there and she gave us access when we got in there. She
I have to find it again.
said that she was going to get her friends to come out and, because I told her, I said, I'm sending you housing commission paperwork. This is a no-no. Like, this is uninhabitable. There's no way. She understood, and she, and I quote, because I had other people with me, she said, oh, I have friends that will get in here and we'll get it fixed in no time. I said, no, you're going to pull proper permits because your entire floor system's gone from this house. She said, okay, and that's all I've heard from her. I know that the people that were there left 2 weeks prior, 3 weeks prior-ish, so nobody was in there when we were in there. It was, again, extremely unsanitary, disgusting,
So
structurally not
theoretically,
sound.
she could have been the person who was living there, not the owner. We have no idea.
I don't think so, because that lady, without getting into too more business, was about to be charged with animal cruelty, so.
Okay.
They actually have, like, people who were there, but I don't know how she's, like, tied, like I said, I don't know if it's that guy's wife, if she's, kin to him, like brother, sister, niece, something. I'm not real sure. I didn't get that whole synopsis. I just know that she lives up there. They were renting that front structure. They were out. She went in to do something, and they found the dog, which is why we were there.
Basically, tomorrow when you post it, hopefully that'll get some attention also.
Normally it does, yes.
Somebody lives behind them will see that as they come in and out the driveway. It's a shared driveway.
Yeah, because that's their house, is that top, very top in the back. That front one is the one they rent out, so.
All right, so I'll be interested
May
to
want to
see.
consider mailing a photocopy of the notice to the owner as well,
That's a good idea.
just as an extra step to make a note of that in your file as well.
Awesome. Do we have anything else for tonight? For October 11th? Okay, if not, we're adjourned till November. Yay.